Welcome back. We're gonna talk to a ghost. First, we're just gonna hang out a little bit.
Investigator. What mister? Do you
We're just having a conversation about the nature of perfection and Carmelina. And I said this right at the beginning of this entire playthrough. The person who's peddling perfection and then suddenly something goes wrong and they can't deliver it. Oh, because it's someone else's fault. Yeah, that's usually the person peddling perfection that caused the problem. And that's definitely true in this case. Spoilers. So we found a couple of things out about this ghost lady, but the question is whether or not we can ask her yet. I think we have to actually talk to someone else first. So we're going to just run through this real quick here.
Aren't you paying attention, investigator?
During a possession, the demon is screaming in rage. The victim screams in the tongue of the demon, but the noises humans are capable of making are too limited. We cannot pronounce demonic languages. We don't have the vocal range or the understanding. Sometimes the demon's psychic force wills the words into existence. This can take a number of forms. So here we're explaining why our red herring has sigils burned into his skin. And here she's saying that anybody he touches could have sigils burned into their skin.
Sure.
But what about the sigils that are drawn in blood? And as we've already said, Henry doesn't know how to draw these sigils. I mean, in theory, he might be able to, but it would be something that would be a strange choice on his part, especially if he's going berserk. Do you know anything about the Fourth Holy Seal? Yes, I do.
Sure.
And here's just people talking. Sure.
What the hell? Mystery awaits. Ooh, the investigator is here.
So here we're getting information that we solved before we even met Crimson, but that's okay.
I have a bag. Those are facts.
So, one last kiss here. She is the girl who gives you all the secrets if you are terrible at this game. And I think that's fine. But it is a little bit of a burden if you're going through it as a Let's Play.
Those are facts. But are they the truth? Those are facts, but are they the truth?
So that's it. I thought we might be able to get something out of her. Because we now know... We now have all the evidence we need to talk about her killer. But we don't yet have the interpretation that we need. And that's what I was talking about before. If you are smart and you figure things out, that's not really part of the game's flow. So we don't really know it. It's not really something we can figure out on our own. We're not allowed to be smart. We have to find the clues and then they'll be explained to us, which isn't a bad design choice. It's just an interesting one. Right here next to One Last Kiss is this magical hole. Ready for this? It's the big weird thing.
Oh. That's weird.
Mother?
Mother?
No, you are not her. Mother called me Danonigata.
So Dainonagata here is the big secret of this game. There are people who have played through this entire game without even encountering him. He's only available if you go to this one specific spot with one specific set of items and crack through like this. As you can tell, he's been very badly wounded and he has some very strange ideas as to what life means. And he is the big secret. He's the second conspiracy. He's one of the children that we were talking about. This secret is a little bit, to me, this whole sequence where we unwrap this second conspiracy is a little bit fast. There's not really any hints that it exists elsewhere in the game. The closest you get is that you can find out that Carmelina had a kid, and this is the kid. But knowing that Carmelina had a kid and then suddenly stumbling straight into him you know, dying in an impossible room. Those are very different things. And then also finding out the rest of this. It's like a huge, huge information dump out of nowhere. And to me, I think this is the weakest set of clues in the game. I would have really liked to have more lead up. Or maybe not more lead up, but a separation between Dainonagate and discovering how Dainonagate got in. You'll see what I mean.
Got it.
The corridor lady.
So here, Dainonagate is talking about the corridor lady. This is basically the only lead up we get to the big second fact of this conspiracy.
Built to the fabric, the corridors.
The investigate.
I thought I escaped. You cannot escape blood.
Now he's talking, so I haven't been narrating his lines, but I guess it's very, very quiet. So here we find out that he's been shot. We know who shot him already. It was, I'm blanking on the name, the important guy who got killed. He shot both of his attackers. One of them died immediately because it was a shot through the head. That was the demon. And then the other one got shot in the chest and escaped, but still dies. I
They
failed.
want me dead.
They want me dead.
Test me.
Mother and the man wants him dead. Now the man is presumably the guy that shot him, who is also already
Got
dead.
it.
Yeah. Oh, maybe not. Oh, that's sorry. That's Yuri Knight. I forgot about that.
My death.
Yeah. Montserrat shot him. That was it.
Shot.
Yeah, so here is Dainonagate admitting to the crime of murdering everybody in the room. It's unclear whether he murdered everyone, but he definitely murdered Montserrat. The reason it's unclear whether he murdered everybody is because the deadly demon did have blood on its claws. So it's quite possible that the deadly demon did some of that work first. Otherwise, someone was looking far enough ahead to plant evidence on the deadly demon. We'll have to try and figure that out later. I wasn't the only monster in the room. It wasn't supposed to be there. What do you mean? Seriously, if you've gotten this far, you're definitely already gonna know about the demon.
See the lines that were hidden.
I made this. She thinks I didn't. I know more than she thinks. See the lines that were hidden. So here we get evidence that it might have been... So we've gotten several recordings about a guy who can see lines. And, you know, those are the lines that no one else can see. And everybody's onto him. It's a conspiracy. That couldn't have been Dainonagate, because Dainonagate's never been out there among the proles and plebeians. But it is someone who had the same kind of power. It's unlikely that was anyone we care about in terms of having a name. I doubt that it was, for example, I doubt that it was our red herring. But it is someone who had the same sort of visions. And the reason I don't think it was the red herring is simply because that guy was not Carmelina's son. And Carmelina is the one with this power.
There is no room in paradise for me. Life has been bad.
The voice actor really delivered that line really well.
I shouldn't have been born.
That's strange. That's weird. Who test me? Sure.
So here's where we're gonna find out that he's from Aiz Kiwami and Carmelina, and he was also the one in the
That's
room.
weird.
Yeah.
What the hell? Sure.
You gonna tell me about Aiz Kiwami? Yeah.
I don't like this.
And this is the one line that a lot of people didn't get, because I found that a lot of people never found Aiz Kiwami's apartment.
I have a bad thing.
Here we find out that he had the Godflesh fused to him. So the Godflesh that Carmelina stole was stapled to her kid, and that allowed the kid to get through the final seal.
Sure.
And this is just basically a giant dump saying, yeah, well, this guy all the things that we needed. This guy did them all. This guy had all the keys. This guy obviously did all of the crimes. This is the suspect. We didn't have any. It wasn't someone that we knew. It wasn't someone that we could have picked out. It wasn't like, oh, it turns out it was Crimson Acid. No, it was some rando that we never met until we met him, and then suddenly we knew immediately that it was him. This is generally considered a pretty bad kind of fake out in the detective novel genre, so I don't really care for this too much, but it's not bad. It's just a kind of a klutzy way to do a detective novel. Normally a detective novel, the guilty party is someone who has been around since the beginning. In this game, a good guilty person would have been the judge. If the judge did these crimes, it would have been really interesting. Having it be someone we never met is kind of a crap out. Oh well.
Don't test me. Ooh, the investigator is here.
Key item obtained. Key item obtained by Nonagate.
You look very flat today, Danonagate. I'm not saying that Dainonagate shouldn't have been in the game. I'm saying that Dainonagate should have failed. He should be a red herring. But that's just my my giant nerd brain talking. I might have mentioned that detective novels are one of my favorite things, and detective novel games too. So here we are going through the big secret, the second piece of this puzzle. And I really wish there was more time between discovering Dainonagate and discovering this. Dainonagate said his mother was the corridor lady, and the blood test confirmed his mother is Carmelina, so Carmelina must have made these. It looks like there are several portals to elsewhere. A couple seem to go to Syndicate apartments, including what I presume is Witness's balcony. Why would you tell us that? Let us discover it. He always gets the biggest balcony so he can watch the island's end. One portal... Just let us discover these things. Ugh, whatever. So, we have one magic portal here that wasn't created by Carmelina. It was created by Dainonagate. So this is to Dainonagate's house. It's where we just came from. This one is to the council location, but it's not inside the building. It's just outside. Over here we've got the cracked weird one. This goes to the wall where we saw Dainonagate's blood splashed up on the wall, and we couldn't figure out how he got through. He got through by literally ripping open reality and waltzing right through. Yeah. That would have made a little bit more sense if there was anything leading up to the idea that people could have that power. Well, whatever. Over here we've got another council chamber exit. And then we've got an exit to... I think this one's locked. I think it's Aiz-Kwami's apartment, though.
The investigator is here.
No, Carmelina's apartment. There should be one of these that goes... I don't remember. It doesn't matter. We'll go through this broken one, though. Now that we've uncovered them, these should all exist. This one goes to the crime scene, and this is how Dainonagate escaped.
The investigator is here.
So here she is explaining why Carmelina didn't just make a corridor straight into the council chambers. She couldn't. She'd never been in there. This is something Carmelina herself has said multiple times. She was just never allowed in. But here we can figure out that she's not innocent. There's a 5-minute window where Witness stepped out onto his balcony to take a call from Akiko. So Carmelina, with her powers, could have slipped out and gone through these gates. But we shouldn't have this line here. This line should be when we go through Witness's portal. That should be explained to us when we're standing on Witness's balcony. It shouldn't just be all dumped on us the instant we go through any portal. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't, pacing-wise, it's not a very good solution. This is a classic problem with games. The ending gets a little bit crunched, and that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing all of these things that should have been spread out over, maybe an hour, 2 hours. They all just get splatted in
Sure.
wherever they fit. So here you can see it. Yep. Gonna go right back through. And the reason for that is because we're gonna go visit Witness, which I believe is this one. Even though it certainly doesn't look like Witness's. No, that's not Witness. Yeah.
Nanny, the hell?
Oh, it is. Okay. It didn't look like Witnesses to me. That's fine. So here we are in Witness's apartment, and you can see that it's right here. There's no difficulty. If Witness wanders away to go take a phone call, she can just go pop and walk right through and do whatever she needs to do for 5 minutes. 5 minutes isn't long, but it's plenty long enough to escort her kid. So maybe that's what happened. You think Yuri Knight was involved? I suppose we'll find out.
Witness to the end.
We can talk to Witness to the end about a little bit of this. We can also just hang out with him.
Oh, I'm glad.
So Witness to the end cares for plants, and so we're going to go ahead and accept the plant. Why not? Maddening rare plant. His idea is that the plants should be really annoying to care for because it's a sign of devotion. So, obviously it should be a burden. The larger the burden, the more praiseworthy the devotion.
Got it.
Yeah, he's going to tell us that Akiko isn't where she said she was, but we already found this out by tracking her phone call directly.
I am still bathed in the glory of the gods.
There's a few things here that we're going to want to talk to him about, but it's not really terribly important.
Surely this is a joke.
We find out that Carmelina visits him through that teleporter quite frequently, rather than coming up from the elevator.
Of their whole...
I have a back.
What? What?
Ooh, the investigator is here.
So here he's just making up excuses as to why Sam would have stored that Godflesh for him. And then here he's going to make excuses where he didn't dial the killer demon number. We already know he did. And this is theoretically new information, but it's not. That's it. So we can't really talk to him very much. But what we can get out of him is the knowledge that Carmelina came through these gates a lot. Carmelina really liked traveling through these gates, and this allows her to go anywhere she wants, well within 5 minutes. It does not take her 5 minutes to get anywhere. She can go absolutely wherever she wants, whenever she wants, and that is the nature of the crime that she committed. Now, it makes perfect sense. She built the islands. It's obvious that she would put back doors in. I just wish that had been led up to. For example, why wouldn't we see hints that she had put back doors into 23 or 22? Why wouldn't we see hints that she could travel faster than anybody else? If those hints had been there, I would have been a little bit happier to see this unfold, because then it would be, oh, we're solving this mystery of how she traveled, rather than, oh, I guess she walked away for 5 minutes and did a crime, but it wasn't her that did the crime. She just walked away so she could help someone else do the crime, and they needed a giant mess of magical behind-the-scenes stuff to let that happen? Couldn't Denogate have just waltzed in through the back? Was there any need to do this whole... Well, it doesn't really matter. That's how they did it. So now we've gotten all of the details on how this stuff all works, and that is that. We know everything there is to know. I mean, there are still some small details left. For example, we want to uncover the mystery of how the ghost died. So that's what we're going to do in the next episode.